Hello everyone, and thanks for watching this video on the 3 different angles for QuickBooks Online to access a client QBO file or get to a QBO client list as the accountant user. One is just going through regular QBO.intuit.com. Then we'll talk about the older QuickBooks Online Accountant or QBOA.intuit.com, and then the newer QuickBooks Online Accountant Office.intuit.com. But as you can see here, I'm at QBO.intuit.com, and I'm logged in with my user ID as woodvo at gmail.com, and I have a password. And I am a user on all of these files. I'm also the accountant user, but even if I was just a regular user on these files, anything from a user to a company admin or master administrator, I'm still going to have my list of QuickBooks Online files, as you guys probably already know. However, as the accountant user, even without having to go through QuickBooks Online Accountant, if I were to launch, it's kind of like how the old list used to be, if you were, right? If you guys remember, as the accountant user in the older list. When I launch up this file, I'm brought in, I still have an accountant home, right? So it's not just the client view. And also under the company file name or the gear icon, I have my accountant tools. So there's one way to do that. You don't necessarily need to go through QuickBooks Online Accountant. You could just go to qbo.intuit.com and you'd see your list of clients and you can go in. And you still have tools and you still have the accountant home and book to tax and those type of features that are not standard or regular QuickBooks Online. So that's the one way. Now let's look at the old QBOA, which some people are still using, and that's fine as well. QuickBooks Online Accountant. I'm logged in as woodvo at gmail.com and my password. I'm the accountant user though on these client files, and when I accepted the invite, it actually brought me into QuickBooks Online Accountant. I have my client list here, and I can also launch the file in a new tab in much the same way. A couple things that are more advantageous using QBOA than say just going through QBO is I do have a link to the sample company file, although you can usually Google that. And I can also add a new QBO company file from here, and it'll match the current promo. It's good for a year at QuickBooks.com, but I can set up the company file. I'll be the master administrator and the accountant user. I can transfer the master admin later, and there's no free trial with this. Within the second time you log in, someone needs to put in the credit card. It's probably going to be, your client, right? They're probably going to be paying for it. And these are some of the key things of the older QBOA. But again, I'm launching into that same file. I have the accountant home, and of course I have the tools here and some specific reports. And this is just because I'm in as an accountant user, right? I have these accountants only features and reports, functionality. Now you'll notice in the old QBOA, there is an option to try out the new QuickBooks Online Accountant just by clicking Try It Now. That'll bring you into the third angle here as the accountant user accessing your client's QBO files. And it's the new QBOA with very similar to the old QBOA except for a few things here. I can add notes and tasks and actually assign them to my staff. With the old QBOA, you're either all ghosting in under the same login or everybody has their own QuickBooks Online account. Right? And each QBO file can only have 2 accountant users. So the new QBOA is really good if the firm wants to have the one client list, but everybody has their own login to this client list. Under the gear icon or the firm name, I have the ability to manage users, which are my staff. So you notice I invited a couple other staff here. We all come into the same office.intuit.com realm, and we all see the same client list. They're like sub-accountants under me. So in this case, you only need the one accountant user on your client QBO files. Your other staff are just coming in kind of under your coattails, if you will, because they're accessing the same client list in the new QBO, QuickBooks Online Accountant, office.intuit.com. Also, when you create a new QBO company file from the new QBOA, you have the ability to bill the firm instead of the client, and that provides a 30% off continuous discount, not just for 1 year, but for the life of your client's QBO subscription. You can migrate out of that back to a client paying for it as well. So you see how each platform, if we go back from the beginning, just going through QBO, and I'll go back to switch company to get me back to my list. I'm an accountant user, and the account user will give me the tools and the features, but as long as I'm a user, I'll still have my list. And this is kind of like just going to qbo.intuit.com. This is how it used to be, but I'm the accountant user, so I can open up my client files and I'll have some accountant tools and reports, etc. I have no way to create a new QBO company file for the client unless I just go to QuickBooks.com. So if you're not needing the QBOA platform, you can still do it in the old way just through QBO.intuit.com, but still be the accountant user because it will give you some tools that are not standard to QuickBooks Online. And then, of course, there is the older QuickBooks Online accountant where you can add a company file and you have your list there and you can access the clients. And then, of course, there is the newer office.intuit.com, which would be the new QuickBooks Online Accountant that has notes and tasks and a firm billing if you want, as well as you can invite staff to view the same list as well. So I like this because then all your staff don't all have to have QBOA, right? It's just one firm QuickBooks Online Accountant, hey, one accountant user. So, but either be that as it may, however you guys want to access your client's QBO files, be the accountant user. And I hope that was helpful. Have a great day.